helps gut health. I don't know that I've came across anything that would suggest it helps gut health. It's interesting that it starts off very scientific. Reduces oxidative stress and inflammation sounds very sciencey.
Yeah.
Helps gut health. That's kind of a hard pivot.
Yeah.
But I've listed a couple of the claims here that companies selling hydrogen water making devices. I'm not sure if there's a term for those, but reduces oxidative stress and inflammation. I'd say that's plausible.
Yeah.
The therapeutic effects seem to be by the hydrogen gas getting into the bloodstream. It's not necessarily that this water is anything except a delivery vehicle for that.
Mhm.
Next, helps gut health. I don't know that I've came across anything that would suggest it helps gut health. It's interesting that it starts off very scientific. Reduces oxidative stress and inflammation sounds very sciencey.
Yeah.
Helps gut health. That's kind of a hard pivot.
Yeah. Not buying that one. Helps brain function. Somewhat buying that one, but probably not as much. We'll mention its potential property as an anxiolytic, maybe because it's a very light narcotic agent. We know this from diving that nitrogen can cause nitrogen narcosis, and hydrogen or hydreliox can also potentially cause kind of a narcosis or a calming effect. Because if divers are diving with just helium and oxygen, then they have that the shakes that they get at high pressure. So there's potentially a help there. Probably not at the level of hydrogen that you're diffusing into your brain that you get from
4
hydrogen
parts
water
per million hydrogen water.
Yeah. And I also wouldn't put too much stock into the increasing energy, lowering athletic fatigue. I wouldn't phrase it that way. I would say potentially lowering lactate buildup, which could be good or bad depending on what you want.
Yeah, I would say lower perceived effort, but like we'll expand on, that's not necessarily the goal. Improve sleep. I don't think I came across anything to support this.
Not strong enough.
Faster recovery. Plausible, but do you really want faster recovery or something that's going to build towards actual improvement in performance?
Yeah. And a lot of these claims that are promising, at this point, it's difficult to, some of these studies were placebo-controlled. I wouldn't call them well-controlled, but it's difficult to assess, did the individuals in the hydrogen water group know that they're in the hydrogen water group because they have to pop open the can to drink it quickly because hydrogen diffuses very quickly, even faster than nitrogen gas and even faster than carbon dioxide gas. So you probably have less than an hour, if not potentially even just minutes to drink this hydrogen water after you either pop open the can or make the water with a synthesizer. So the people who were in the non-placebo group probably knew it, and they probably enjoyed that, Pavlov's dog, if you will, of popping the tab.
Yeah, it's not exactly clear. Perfect world, you have one can of water that has hydrogenated water, another can that has regular old filtered, distilled, whatever water, and you have a truly blinded condition. And I was skeptical that the taste wouldn't be different, thinking of, carbonated beverages, obviously, you can taste that. But it looks like to the naked eye, you really wouldn't perceive, at least after the, can we call it a brewing process? The brewing process.
Infusing process?
Brewing sounds cool.
Okay.
The infusing process for the hydrogen, you really can't perceive those little bubbles that are in there. And several people seem to say that it just tastes like regular old water and they couldn't perceive any difference.
Yeah.
So it's a better control than if you were trying to use carbonated water. That would be pretty impossible to do.
Yeah.
Although I do know what a non-aerated carbonated water would taste like. This is like when my water filter starts to get old and I sort of have that acidic taste when I'm drinking the water. I know it's time to change the filter.
Yeah, that's a good thought. Things can definitely go flat and gases can definitely diffuse out of water, which you would think, well, why not just study hydrogen gas, which has actually been done along with ozone gas. And for that, think about what happened to the Hindenburg, which was supposed to be full of helium, but they filled it with hydrogen instead.
Yeah, and the hydrogen gas therapy, I believe, has been around in published literature anyway longer than hydrogen-rich water has. And this
Mhm.
is over in Japan. It looks like a lot of this research has come out.
Yep.
But before we jump into the data, I'll list my favorite scientific claim about hydrogen-rich water. It helps you unlock energy in a way that regular water cannot.
Yeah. The claims are a little bit hard to hear. So I would consider that my least favorite claim. I'm not that stupid that that's your favorite claim.
Yeah. So now I selfishly sort of curated a couple of exercise performance studies, and there's
Mhm.
sort of a host of these things looking at inflammation or exercise performance,
Yep.
maybe anxiety, like we'll talk about. But I selected these as a subset because that's really the application that I think most people are asking me about it in.
Yeah,
And that's really the main application that I'm interested in personally.
certainly.
So